All right. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Ruach Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. I'd like to start off by saying the name of this one is Think to Change Laws. And pretty much this lesson is coming through inspiration of a couple of articles that were sent to me. One of them was sent by Elder Apostle Tahar to one of my videos. He put a link to this one article, which I want to read some of it. And in another article that brother sent me a few days ago that I want to kind of get into. Because as you brothers are aware of, last night or yesterday, I did a lesson based off of, how they're trying to ban the scriptures. And it was called, What Hast Thou to Do to Declare My Statutes? And pretty much they're trying to stop the truth from going out, and they're putting a lot of restrictions on the so-called freedom of religion. Now we know that religion is a man-made word, and that religion regulates, and stifles pretty much the truth of Yahweh by Shema Shai. But religion is something that is out there for the benefit of getting the word out using the scriptures. So now they're starting to put a lot of different stipulations, and looking to put laws into place that will stifle this word, to give them the teeth, so to speak, to come against us and anyone that teaches any form of truth, especially coming from the Bible, because that is the main book that is a problem. The only time the Bible in Esau's and the international banking family's minds makes any sense is when they could use it to their benefit, to push their agenda, to pretty much push their power and authority. So they'll use it to their benefit. But when it comes to the truth of the Bible basically condemns these devils. Just bear with me 1 second, because something came to mind that I was looking up earlier, and I just wanted to just bring it up so I can have it. The Lord's will, we can get into it if the Spirit allows. Shalom to the Akim, sincere brothers, and Akwath and the comment board, elders and brothers that are watching. So pretty much that's the what's going on. They're trying to stifle the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. As we know in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, it says that they're going to bring an insurrection against those that fear the Lord. And those that fear the Lord are who? The Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, and the speckled bird, wherever they may be. It's no coincidence that they're saying that we're at the highest risk. So when the Crown 19 Maxine comes out, they want to inject so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians with it first, because it's a depopulation. When you go to the Georgia Guidestones, when it says maintain humanity under 500 million people in perpetual balance with nature, you best believe that the main ones they want to get rid of is Jake, and just have just enough of them, to serve them. You know what I mean? And that's what it's always been about. So what I want to do is go to the first article. This is the one that Elder Pastor put on my comment board. This is called ACLU 100 Years. It says Model State Emergency Health Powers Act. So this is MSEHPA. That's the acronym for this particular act. It says question and answer on the Model State Emergency Health Powers Act. All right, so it says, what is MSEPA? MIPA stands for Model State Emergency Powers Act. It is a draft of model legislation. So keep in mind, we're dealing with legislation. What is legislation? Well, let's go to the etymology online and type in legislation. You have to remember that everything that Esau does, they put it into law to give it teeth, to give themselves the give themselves the so-called authority or the excuse that they need to actually um, uh, bring forth their agenda to life, so to speak. So legislation 1650s, the enacting of laws, from French legislation, from late Latin legislationem, legislatio, properly two words, legislatio, a proposing, literally bearing of a law. So law bearing, legislation is law bearing. See, legislative meaning the product of legislative action. So pretty much legislation basically means bearing of a law. Why is that? Because a law is the standard instruction of how to govern a particular society. And that's what bears upon the people because they have to be tributary to it. So that's why you always constantly see them create certain situations, make it public, through the media, paint this big picture, and then propose laws into effect. They start off as acts, then they, bills and laws, and then once they get it into law, that's what gives it the teeth and allows them to use it later. And it's going to all make sense with the next article that we're going to read. So it says, it is a draft of model legislation to increase state powers to respond to bioterrorism. So now what's happening now is they're starting to put into the minds of people that those that don't want to wear the mask, that those that don't want to be inoculated, so on and so forth, are a threat, but they're a terror threat, and they should be removed from society because they don't care about the well-being and the health of others. So that's the picture that's being painted, and you can see these stupid people really going for it because when you walk into a store and you have your mask on but you don't have it over your nose, which I don't put it over my nose, they're looking at you like, are you gonna put that over your nose, And I'm looking at them back like, no, get the fuck out of my face. Thank you very much. Sometimes I might just go into the store without it, without it on. It depends on the spirit that I'm in, So they're slowly but surely conditioning people to those that are not playing along with the rules will be demonized. And that's what these laws being put into place are all about. Remember, they have to create, like the boogeyman back in the 60s and 70s was what? Communism. Communists. If you were labeled a communist, that was a bad word. Today it's terrorism. Going back to what? To the 90s and really 2001, with 911, So it says to increase state powers, and that's what it does. What it does, laws enacted increase the state's powers to respond to bioterrorism. See? So giving them the ability to do what they do. This is why they created FEMA. This is why you have other MJTF, multi-jurisdictional task force. That was a tongue twister. And other agencies that they have, to enforce their laws. Remember what this devil said, Trump, that once the vaccine comes out, he's going to have the military administer it in a very powerful way. You see? So these laws are giving them teeth. Or bioterrorism or other outbreaks of disease that the Centers for Disease Control and others want states to pass into law, because they have to cover all bases, because obviously, this police shooting and police killing is not getting Jake riled up enough. It's not getting enough people killed. So they have to dig into other areas, to bring out, more legislation, which more legislation means less freedom. more restrictions. And that's what they're doing. They're pretty much putting the cobra clutch or the anaconda clutch on the people. And they're restricting their movements more and more. And most people, for the most part, they're just going to go right along with it. But you're going to have those that are going to resist. You know? You have those that are going to resist physically, like the militias and all that. And you have those that are going to resist spiritually, which is us. You know? It says, although such legislation is needed, the current draft of the Model Act, unfortunately, is written in a way that doesn't adequately protect citizens against the misuse of the tremendous powers that it would grant in an emergency. And remember, an emergency could be anything that they want it to be. All they have to do is declare what? A national emergency, and they could enact these laws. Just like, as of right now, when Trump called that for that national emergency, it gave FEMA the powers that it needed to act. Now, as far as I know, they haven't rescinded that, you know. But I don't keep up that close with all legislation, so I don't know exactly what happened with that. But it says, what is wrong with MCPA? Although extraordinary measures may be required during an emergency, the Model Act is replete with civil liberties problems. Its three top flaws are that it fails to include basic checks and balances. The Act would grant extraordinary emergency powers, but that kind of authority should never go unchecked. Public health authorities make mistakes, and politicians abuse their powers. And that's what it's all about, the abuse of power. There is a history of discriminatory use of the quarantine power against particular groups of people based on race and national origin. For example, the lack of checks and balances could have serious consequences for individuals' freedoms, privacy, and equality. The Act lets the governor declare a state of emergency unilaterally and without judicial oversight. Fails to provide modern due process procedures for quarantine and other emergency powers. And that's why they have these laws in power, you know, in the books, so that it overrides the due process, you know, the rights of the citizens. Because it's not about rights, it's about them getting their agenda pushed forward. And if they have those restrictions, they can't push their agenda forward. So these emergency laws that are enacted supersede the rights and the privileges, you know, of the people. You see? It said it lacks adequate compensation for seizure of assets and contains no checks on the power to order forced treatment and vaccination. There we go. Forced treatment. It goes well beyond bioterrorism. That's number 2. The Act includes an overboard definition of public health emergency that sweeps in HIV, AIDS, and other diseases that clearly do not justify quarantine. Yeah, you could have the common cold, and they'll say, "Well, that's a bioterrorist thing, so we gotta forcibly remove you." It says forced treatment or any other broad emergency authorities that would be granted under the Act. And number 3, it lacks privacy protections. The Act requires the disclosure of massive amounts of personally identifiable health information to public health authorities without requiring basic privacy protection and fair information practices that could easily be added to the bill without detracting from its effectiveness in quelling an outbreak. And the Model Act would undercut existing protections for sensitive medical information. Don't matter if you have the right to privacy. This is an emergency, and you're going to give us all the information we need. That not only threatens to violate individuals' medical privacy, but undermines public trust in government activities. The Act is a throwback to a time before the legal system recognized basic protections for fairness, before public health strategies were rooted in voluntary compliance, and before the information age dictated the need for privacy protections of individuals' personal information. And it goes on, you know, on and on. And I put the description in the description box if brothers want to check it out. Let's go to a quick precept before I go to the actual next one. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 10. I'm going to read the first verse, then we're going to come back to this. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. So an unrighteous decree, what? Is an unrighteous law. Because the funny thing about it is that this society is is hold on one second. This society brags on its origins going back to the Bible. It leans on the fact, or it leans on the false statements, should I say, that this is a Christian society, that they uphold the Bible, that that's what the standards of America is, one nation, whatever the however the hell the quote goes, but that's the furthest thing from the truth. That is nothing but a falsehood, lies. All right. So it says, woe or destruction unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, meaning pre-written. So notice it goes in. It's a bill. It's an act of bill and law. If I'm not mistaken, that's the path it takes. If I'm not I'm not an expert, so if I said it wrong, then hey, so that's what they do. So when they put these unrighteous laws in the books, it restricts the people from their true beliefs, because at the end of the day, they're trying to do away with freedom of religion, freedom to choose. It doesn't matter what your excuse is, you're going to comply, and that's pretty much the bottom line. That's what the Lord said, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievances which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment. So the needy are who? The Israelites. And how are they turning us aside from judgment? Because our help is in the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai. But they're gonna try to make us bow down to their will, because this is their world, this is their empire, and we are gonna be forced, or try to be forced, to keep these decrees that go against the law, statutes, and commandments of our power, Yahweh Bashem El Shai, and to take away the right from the poor of my people. And that's what they're doing, taking away the rights. We have the so-called God-given right, the rights from Yahweh Bashem El Shai, not to what's the word I'm looking for? To bow down to this devil's rules and regulation that go against our powers. I'm gonna read this one. The up and coming elder Karatazar out in Vegas put Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, and put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Yeah, and that's what they do. They pretty much took some shit, sprayed some perfume on it, laced it, threw some sugar in it, and some sprinkles, and called it candy, and expect people to eat it and like it. It says, and to take away the right of the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And this is what's happening, because a lot of times when you deal with these unrighteous decrees, what happens? You lose out. Why? Because if you get into a situation where you don't comply with something, and they give you a fine or jail time, whatever the case may be, what happens is eventually, after so much, you lose everything, because you can't afford to keep paying, these draconian measures, these draconian laws, because it's excessive. And instead of making it lighter, they keep making it heavier and heavier. And this was the complaint that that Jake had back then, that there was a lot of taxes being imposed on them. So they asked they asked Rehoboam to lighten the load, or the burden, and he wouldn't. He made it worse. And that's what Esau is doing today. Instead of, lightening the burden, they making the burden worse and worse. All right, so now let's go from there. Let's go here. This is Natural News. All-powerful CDC calls for concentration camps in America, including the invasion of homes and neighborhoods. So remember, they got all this in place. Now, I know you brothers, most of you brothers, if not all you brothers, already saw the video, how that one doctor, was it Nowak, I believe it was, out in Germany. I believe the brother Yashalom put the video up, if I'm not mistaken. And pretty much the police came because he wasn't abiding by the regulations, the new stipulation regulations of the German government. Dealing with the Crown 19 situation. And what happened? They kicked down his door. They arrested him. So they're not playing anymore because everything is in. Right? They had him at gunpoint. Yeah. So they're not playing anymore. They're going full speed, full steam ahead with their plans, whether the people accept it or not. That's what there's going to be: insurrection, seditions. There's going to be fights and battles and scratching, and clawing, because this is unrighteous what they're doing. Certain people know that, and these devils are still pushing forward. Let's see, 2 Ezra 16 and 15. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out. Do I have the right one? I'm sorry, it says 15th chapter. 2 Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Why? Because this is going to be a worldwide event. Remember, this what we're dealing with is not one country or one continent or one city or one state. This is a worldwide event. So it says, woe or destruction to the world and them that dwell therein. Why? Because it's gonna get bad out here. Because the governors of this world, the rulers of this world, have an agenda, and their agenda is strictly a draconian way of life for the average person, and they being the only ones that benefit. So the ones that are going to benefit in this new world would be Esau and the other nations, the top of them. Everybody else will just be a minion. And you see that in these different movies like 1984, the movie Equilibrium, and many other futuristic movies, The Handmaid's Tale, and many other, THX 1138, I believe it was. So pretty much it's a future of perpetual slaves with only a very few enjoying the benefits of everything, enjoying life, enjoying their riches, enjoying the slave labor of the people, while everybody else is in hardcore misery. It says, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, because there's going to be race wars, there's going to be class wars. You're going to have people that are going to get tired of these judges and these lawyers and so on and so forth and come against them. It says, for there shall be sedition among men. Yeah, so there's going to be a rising up among men and invading one another, because they're going to fight against each other, and then it says they shall not regard their kings nor princes, because you have legislators, mayors, governors, police that are going to try to quell certain situations, but they're not going to be able to, because the public is going to overrun them. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Why? Because it's a constant oppression going on, and people are getting tired of the oppression. But for the most part, most people are just compliant. But when you get the great motivator involved, which is hunger, that's when shit is going to get really bad. All right? It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And we're starting to understand more and more every day what is going to bring this to pass, as we read here. All-powerful CDC calls for concentration camps in America, including the invasion of homes and neighborhoods. It says, natural news, the mass surrender of individual liberties and property rights in 2020 has emboldened a dangerous merger between power-drunk government officials and public health authoritarian. An all-powerful Centers for Disease Control, CDC, is now plotting to turn American communities into concentration camps using a variety of family separation strategies. Meditate on that. So this is what's coming down the pike. It says these concentration camps are justified because the CDC is keeping you safe. In the name of safety, the agency now seeks to forcibly limit contact between individuals deemed high risk by separating them from their family and the general low risk population. Public health mandates are already targeting families in their own homes, mandating the number of people who can gather in individual residences during the holiday season. See? So they're already starting. Now, would show you how stupid these people are. I don't remember when. It's had to be probably about a month ago, month and a half or so. I can't really remember. Could have been 2 months. It could have been a month. But it was a little while ago. I believe we were either on our way to camp or back home from camp. And we saw this couple, two Edomites, hugged up. They both had on a mask. They were kissing each other through the fucking mask. And see, this is the shit that gives these devils the emboldenment to do what they do. You know? They put it out for these people to do and comply, and when they do comply with it, that gives these devils more and more teeth. But hey, let it roll. The brother Karatas said over in Denmark they had a sedition which caused and law to be overturned. Yeah, you know. So but eventually they're gonna just say the hell with the people. They're gonna roll hard. So it says CDC seeks to label high-risk individuals, separate them from their families and the rest of society. And you know, you can read more of this. You know, there's a lot into it. Let me read a little bit. The CDC now claims the power to separate high-risk individuals from their families and the general population so they can be relocated to safe camps called green zones. So now you got what? Green zones. And some of these places in a person's home, they can quarantine a person in a particular area where the rest of the family can't go except for when they need to bring them their essentials, whether it's food, water, or whatever. And they have to be masked up. They have to be, you know, protective geared down, you know, and then afterwards they have to sanitize themselves, you know, to get rid of whatever infections may be lingering around. These green zone camps will be set up in neighborhoods at the community level. The high-risk individuals will not be able to make human contact with family members or others in their community as they are forcibly separated. The goal is to destroy the family unit and cause further human suffering. That's right. The goal is to lock up and corral the weakest people in the population, suppressing their immune systems and their lives further so they can rapidly infect one another and die off. It's genocide, and that's exactly what it is. You know? That's why it says, matter of fact, let's read that. We read it constantly, but let's read it again. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth. Remember, destruction to the inhabitants of the earth. The inhabitants of the earth. The word earth here is ge or gay, which is the whole entire planet, earth. And of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has but a short time. So they're going to come hard and they're going to come heavy, because this is prophecy. 2nd Ezra 16. And look, we read the same precepts over and over again because the scriptures don't change. The scriptures are already etched in stone. What does change, though, are the different legislation that come out, different information pertaining to prophecy. But when we go back to the scriptures are one unit. They're cemented already. 2nd Ezra 16 and 70, it says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. These are we're the main threat. They shall be like madmen. Who? These different officials of these different agencies, these police agencies. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. That's why they said that the first people that are to be vaccinated are so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, because they're the highest risk, because they don't have, you know, the benefits, you know, pretty much that so-called white people and other so-called races have. You know, because we're the so-called minority. You're in a ghetto. You're poor, so on and so forth, which is all a crock of shit. All right, so let's go back and see what else we can find. The CDC wants to take control of the community, and they also want to take over each and every household, one of their shielding approaches focuses on separating people in their own homes, designating a specific room to physically isolate high-risk individuals from the rest of the family. The CDC warns low-risk household members not to enter the green zone established by the CDC in their own home. Inhabitants are required to wash their hands and use face covering if they need to provide essential services to high-risk family members cordoned off inside their own home. Furthermore, so pretty much they're going to make your home a prison. Furthermore, low-risk household members must continue to follow social distancing and hygiene practices outside the house, related as you read. Oh, this is going into something else. All right, so now let's go from there to the book of Micah, chapter 2. Because really, when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, you get down to the nitty-gritty, these devils have the power to end hunger, to end suffering, to end disease, to end all of this stuff. They have the power to do it, but they don't do it. They don't sleep. They don't get off unless they do some type of wickedness. And the main thing that they get off on is the suffering of the populace, of the rest of the population. They get off on that. That's like a high to them. They get off on the misery of others. And you're gonna tell me that this is not a sick people? That they don't need to be put down like a mangy mutt? Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity, because they devise these things, man. Let's go to the word devise. Chashab, to think, plan, esteem, calculate, invent. So they invent these things. Let's go to Psalms 64 and 6. They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. So they accomplish a diligent search. So it says that woe to them that devise iniquity. So what is iniquity? It's sin on top of sin on top of sin. So these different legislations that are being passed to ultimately achieve their ultimate goal or agenda, which is a new world order, what are unrighteous decrees, which are the devices of iniquity that they're putting into place, and work evil upon their beds. Yeah, because even they can't go to sleep unless they do something to put teeth, so to speak, into their agenda and cause misery upon the people. It says when the morning is light, they practice it. Yeah, so when they get up in the morning, they practice it. Let's look up the word practice. They practice it, which is Aisha, which is to do. They practice it because it is in the power of their hand. See? So now power here goes to the word Allah, which is the Most High, God-like power. So if you look at them, they have control of the whole world. They have the power to stop suffering and and agony and all that and hunger, but they're not going to do that. So they have the God-like power to do these things. God-like one, mighty one. So they have that power, but they're using that power to devise iniquity. And that power is in their hand because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And the word there for hand is yad. Hand, strength, power, see? So they have that strength, they have that power because it was given to them by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So what do? They do it, they use it for evil. It says, and they covered fields. What are the fields? These different lands that they want to get into. You have certain lands on the planet Earth that are never were even thought of. People lived there. Then all of a sudden you find out they had oil there, or you find out they had lithium, or you find out they had some type of natural resource that you want. So what do? You send in your economic hitman to set up puppet, to buy off the puppet leaders. And if that doesn't work, you send in the real deal. You make up some excuse why you have to invade that country, and meanwhile the whole time you're there, you're just there to take the people's resources and their lands, to take their money. And that's what these devils have done all throughout since they've been in power. Just live off the misery of people. They're nothing but parasites. And they covered fields and take them by violence. Yeah, Because eventually what happens? They lend you money through the IMF, International Monetary Fund, and if you don't pay that money back, which they know damn well, if a country is in that dire straits and in that much debt, they know that lending them money out of thin air is going to do nothing but put them further and further into debt. It might heal the problem for a moment, but this is going to make them further and further into debt. So when they can't pay, what comes next? The collateral. What is the collateral? The land, the resources, the people. And then when it comes time to pay up, if they don't pay up, what they do? Boots on the ground. It says, in houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And that's all these devils do. That's why it says, remove not the ancient landmarks. And that's all these devils do. All their life, from the time of the Renaissance period until now, it's been a bunch of lies, deception, cheating, murder, rape, robbery, that they've pushed upon the whole planet Earth. And this is how they live. They live off the miseries of others. They live off of the goods of others. That's why it says here in the Apocrypha, in the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10 and 8, it says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So this kingdom is going to be translated from Esau to Yahushai and us, the Israelites. It's going to be taken away because the way it was set up under lies, rape, robbery, murder. And the riches that these devils got are not by right. What is that? Is that Habakkuk 2? And 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee. So what is the cup of the Lord's right hand? It's truth through his prophets. And when it's turned unto them, what happened? And shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. And that's why you have the prophets out here cursing this devil out for the wickedness that he's doing. And this is why, we're like a thorn in his side. Like a sty in the eye, Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. And that's one of the things that we tell them. That the way that they got everything was not by right. So what's happening now is the Most High is revealing them, putting that shameful spewing on their glory, because their glory is what? Their kingdom. Because this is Esau's kingdom. So in this glory that they have, and this boast that they have, and these riches that they have, it's nothing but it's shameful. Let's look up that word, shameful. Shameful. The word is kwaya kwala one, disgrace, shame. And what is disgrace? Let's look it up. It says loss of reputation or respect as a result of a dishonorable action. And that's exactly what's happening. Because everyone thought that they were the Most High, that they were Yahushai, that they were the Israelites, this, that, and the other, that they were so benevolent, and they did such great things. They were Christians and this, that, and the other. But now when you start really digging in there and the dirt starts coming out, you start really seeing that the way that they got these things was dishonorable. So the Lord is pouring out that disgrace upon them. And disgrace is what? Loss of reputation or respect as a result of a dishonorable action. So the Lord is saying that the way you got your stuff is going to be revealed by the Lord's right hand, and it's going to put shameful spewing on your glory. You're going to be disgraced in front of everybody because they're going to know the real truth of how you really got what you got, and the extreme that you went to get this. And it's all coming out on you right now. So going back, it says, thou art filled with shameful glory, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. So your glory and the manner in which you live in now, the riches that you have in your kingdom, people have been seeing and are seeing more and more that it's a shameful way that you got it. And we read that that's going to be taken from you. You know, and that's what we're waiting for Yahweh Shai to come back and kick you dead off that throne that you don't belong on. Now let's go from there to the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 23. It says, then he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth. Now the fourth beast represents the Roman Empire. Now we know that the Roman Empire fell and came back into power during the time of the Renaissance, and really had their lion-like teeth, you know, with America, because this is the revival of the ancient Roman Empire, America with her allies, right? But it all came out of what? That Renaissance period. So it says, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth. And we see that Esau has devoured the whole earth right now. They have power and control over the whole planet, and they're constantly putting a stranglehold, you know, on the people to take what little bit is left. It says, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And we see them treading it down right now and breaking it in pieces by bringing in this new world order. This new world order doesn't benefit anybody but the so-called elite. It's hardship upon the rest of the people. It says, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and the other one that arose after them is America. And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And if you know anything about the history of America, America had, you know, America was governed by the Spanish, the French, and the British. And then so-called America, you know, defeated them and got control of all of these different lands that belong to those other 3 horns. It says, and he shall speak great words, which is America, against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. We've seen that happen time and time again. You've seen it when they first got here on the different islands in Central America, South America, North America, Canada, so on and so forth, Mexico. You know, when they brought Judah, Benjamin, and Levi over here, it says, and think to change times and laws. So this is what they're doing. They're changing laws, because the laws that they said that they believe in, that this country was established upon, was so-called Christian principles. So so-called Christian principles are established upon what? Upon the Bible. So does he keep the laws of the scriptures? No, he does not. Psalms 50 and 16. Another one just came to mind, so let me get that. Damn. Came to mind and just left. If it comes back, I'll get it. Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, who's the wicked? Esau. Find that in Malachi, the 1st chapter. But unto the wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Yeah, and every 4 years, they make the president swear in on the Bible. They have all plastered all in all the court systems and their different courts, you know, in God we trust. Which we understand what God they're talking about, but to the average person, they're thinking about the Heavenly Father. Which the Heavenly Father's laws are what? The Bible, His Word. So why are you taking the Most High statutes and His covenant in your mouth? It says, see and thou hatest instruction, and casteth my words behind thee, because they don't govern by the laws of the scriptures. They govern by their own penal code. They only use the Most High's laws, His book, when it benefits them to use their, because they know that people respect the authority of the Most High's book, so they'll use it for that purpose to get the people to bow down to His will. But then when it comes down to actually governing or judging, they don't use the Most High's law. They use their own penal codes, their own laws and sub-laws that go totally against the scriptures of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Alright, so now let's go from there to Daniel chapter 8. Which Daniel chapter 8, this is talking about Antiochus Epiphany. But, you know, we can apply it, those principles, to today. Why? Because these same things are being done today But this Daniel 8:25 is actually talking about Antiochus Epiphanes, and it's funny because I had put these scriptures together earlier, and I just happened to start watching before I came home to do this lesson. I started watching Elder Yashawamba doing his that one video. Damn, what was the name of that video? Just bear with me. Let me see if I could get it. The artificer, the modern day exalted idol. You know, and he actually went into this scripture here, Daniel 8:25, and this is dealing with Antiochus Epiphanes, but we could use this today because this is what these devils are using, and through his policy, because remember he enacted laws, just like all those different nations that ruled, they had certain laws that you had to abide by, seeing that you were a citizen and subject to the laws of that nation. So people were made to follow these policies. So here in America is no different, and this is a worldwide event. That's why it says that this is gonna the hour of temptation is gonna take the whole world by storm, so to speak. So it says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. Why? Because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. They have that power. They had that godlike power to put these policies into play, and nobody can resist them. The word policy is shakal, prudence, which is what? Wisdom. And what did the scripture say about wisdom? It says many things about wisdom, but let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 19 and verse 22. It says, the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. See? Neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. So there's no wisdom in the counsel of sinners. So when Esau is getting together doing his thing, that's why the Lord said, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels, because the counsels that they're having are wicked counsels. And they're so stupid that they don't think that the angels of the Most High are there watching them, seeing what they're doing and saying, and then going back and reporting it to the Most High. So it says, the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. That's why it says, sit not in the counsel of the ungodly. Because all they do is think about wickedness. So going back to, where are we at? Prudence, insight, understanding. Prudence, good sense. Cunning. So going back. So the policies are the thoughts, the things that he's set up and concocted and said, well, look, we're going to create this situation. And once the situation, you know, people start getting affected by it, we have these different laws and sub-laws in place that the people, we're going to present to the people. They're going to accept it, thinking it's going to help benefit them, but it's really going to help cement our position. And that's what is, you know, that's what is going pushing towards. It says, and shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. So let's go to the word craft. Shall cause craft. The word is maramah, deceit, treachery. See, so this craft. That's why it says, never trust an enemy. As iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Because they're saying one thing out of their mouth, but they're really saying something else. You know, his words are smoother than butter, yet were they drawn swords. You know? Because it's all about pushing their agenda, guile, feign, false. So everything you see coming out their mouth is all false. That's why it states, let's go real quick to Revelation chapter 13 and 11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. This is America. He had two horns like a lamb. Yeah, the horns represent power. Two opposing powers, Republicans and Democrats. And it says that they spake as a lamb. I'm sorry, they came two horns like a lamb. So a lamb is what? Meek. But they're, as the saying goes, wolf in sheep's clothing. Because they're saying one thing, but then when they get into the position that they claim they're going to help people with, then they do something totally different. It says, and he spake as a dragon. What is a dragon? Draconian. This goes into the laws, because the laws is what gives it teeth. And the laws are part of the image of the beast. Because the image of the beast is not no fucking picture of Caesar Borgia. The image of the beast is the whole Roman system and how it ran. The legislation, you know, and everything that went by, you know, the strictness, you know, of the law, you know, and the penalties for breaking the law, you know, and the whole oppression of people, you know, their feudal society and system, you know, the different fees and taxes, all of that goes into the image of the beast. So the word dracon, a dragon, a great serpent, a name of Satan, it's the name of Esau, you know, which is not the spiritual demon Satan, but the physical counterpart, which is Esau on the planet. Because we know that there's a physical counterpart in on the earth. Yep, wiles of the devil, that's right. Yep, that's the wiles of the devil, that's right. That's right. Brother Gabar Dama, Isaiah 26:10, let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness he will deal unjustly. You see that right now in the land of Israel, and will not behold the majesty of the Lord. Why? Because the wicked shall not understand, but the righteous shall understand. Virgin Islands, Straight Gate, thy wisdom and thy knowledge it hath perverted thee. That's Isaiah 47:10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. That's right. And that's exactly what it is. You know? Alright, so going back. So it says, so we finished with that. So now the next word, we looked up the word policy, we looked up the word craft, and now we're going to look up the word prosper. Tazalach. No, sorry, Tazalach. To rush, to advance, prosper, make progress, succeed, be profitable. So this legislation, this false legislation, is causing their words to be expedited. Their agenda to be expedited. That's where you get the word expedient, to step out. So it's putting feet and teeth into their agenda through these different legislation that are crafty. The way that they set them up, these different laws that they set up, going back to Antiochus Epiphanes, going back to Nebuchadnezzar, going back to the Roman Empire, going back to all them different empires and the legislation that they pushed out there. But it just so happens that from the Greeks to the Romans all the way up until today, these are the Edomites, which will be the final rulers of the planet prior to Yahushua coming back. That's why the very first nation he's coming to visit when he comes back is who? The Edomites, because they're the ones in power. Even Eustace Mullins knew that them the Tiny Tim Hats, you know, were Turco-Edomites. So let's read that again. And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. Keep in mind, this is Antiochus Epiphanes, but we're using the example of what he did back then to cause it to prosper in today, because he is a descendant, or he is one of the Edomites. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. This is what's happening right now. They're saying peace, you know, with the Crown 19 Maxine, and they're putting legislation in to evoke Emergency Power Act to emergent, you know, in an emergency, inject people, you know, but there's gonna destroy many people. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall fall and be broken with our hands. Yeah, because Antiochus Epiphanes tried to go against the Lord, and the Lord took his ass out miserably. And these devils are going to do the same thing now, and they're going to fail miserably. Okay, let's see what else we got. Let's go one more precept. Let's go to Isaiah 14. Let's end it with that. Isaiah 14 and 13. Let's start at 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, or O illuminated ones, or O day star, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Because you were in a glorified, lofty position. And now you're going to be brought down. You're going to be at the bottom. You're going to be where you belong. You're going to finally be the peasant and the pauper that you were meant to be, that you were created to be. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, which they have done that. Planes, shuttles, helicopters, so on and so forth. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High, which they have. They've got space stations out there. As we speak right now, you have SpaceX, and it's no coincidence that the name of the mission or the name of the crew that went up there is called Dragon. I mean, how much plainer does it have to get? Do you think that's a coincidence that they called it Dragon? Oh, you know what? I can't think of no other name. Why don't we just call it Dragon? That's all the Lord, man. The dragon with the 7 heads, you know, that red dragon. You know, it's funny because it's like, it's so plain, but yet it's so hidden. Like they say, hidden in plain sight. Because there's, I forget who the person was. There was someone that said this years ago, said that, because they were asked a question, I believe it was Edward Griffin that was telling the story. And he said pretty much that the only thing that needs to be hidden are small secrets, because the big secrets are hidden by the incredulity of the people. Because you say something to the average person and they won't believe you. So the big secrets are protected by the incredulity of the masses. And the only thing that really should be guarded are little secrets. That's why there's a saying, hidden in plain sight. Matter of fact, before I read on, let's look that up real quick. Let's see what we got here. What you got for me, sucker? Inside joke. Okay. Adjective, hidden in plain sight, not comparable, idiomatic, seemingly hidden, but actually not hidden, and easy to find. Yeah, pretty much. So that actually is that at some point in time seems to be hidden, but actually is not hidden and is easy to be found. So pretty much saying the same thing. All right, so Isaiah 14:13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend up into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation, which are the Israelites, in the sides of the north, North America. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. And they have done that. I will be like the Most High. You know? Be like, Dama. To be like, resemble. To be like, resemble. To liken, compare, to imagine, think, to make oneself like. And that's why they want to put everybody's information on the internet digitally, and so that they can track every individual person, just like the Most High tracks all spirits, because he is the Father of spirits. He knows where everybody's at all times. And this is what Esau wants. He wants that power. He has that God complex. He wants to be the Most High. And he has the power to do it. But he's not the Most High. He can't be the Most High. That's why they've spent so much money on trying to capture the human spirit. They want to harness that energy. They want to break that down. They want to create that. But you can't. So going back, let's read that one more time. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet you shall be brought down to hell, meaning to slavery, to the sides of the pit, because you're going down. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? This piece of shit right here? That made the world as a wilderness? That's what they did. And destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to be cast out. You're going to be like dung. You're going to be as though you never were. And as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Yeah, because you're never going to be in a position to get any laud or praise anymore. Everyone's going to know who the hell you are. That shameful spewing is going to be magnified billions, trillions of times. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Because if they do, they're going to do the same exact shit that they're doing now, that they've been doing since they took control of the earth. Going back to the Greeks, the Romans, then there was a period of 1,000 years they got shut down, and then they came back during the Renaissance period till now, and they're doing nothing but the same shit that they were doing back then, because they're the wicked. All right. So with that, pray that your brothers have been edified. Like I said, I put these two in the description box. So if brothers want to, read more on it, and get more information on it, do your own lessons. I'm pretty sure brothers done listen on these. It's just something that I actually was able to look at today, and Spirit hit me to do something on it. So with that, I pray that your brothers have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.